place that we all come to be with our God and to be with our friends and to advance ourselves, each and every one of us, in our spiritual lives. Thank you all, and God bless Kesher, God bless all of us.
I would now like to introduce David Epstein, who was president of Kesher Israel from 1992 to 1994. David?
Let us now praise famous presidents. I will talk about my single greatest failure as president of Kesher Israel. I know that successes are quickly forgotten. Losses have an enduring sting. I learned that lesson in the courtroom. I was president of Kesher Israel in the early 1990s when one Shabbat I davened at the modern Orthodox Manhattan Upper East Side congregation of Kehillat Jeshurun. At the Kiddush, I was introduced to one of its congregants, a man, a father. He took my measure and saying slowly, "Your synagogue has a reputation for making shidduchim, matches." I said, "That's true." He said, "I believe that no." I said, "That's true. I believe that in the past 7 years, we had about 50 marriages under the presidency of Michael Gelfand." He responded accusingly, "My daughter was at your synagogue for 2 consecutive Shabbats. She didn't meet anybody." I fumbled for a response. "Well, 2 Shabbats is not very much time. We do not give guarantees. We only try to improve the odds." I did not tell this distraught father that my core competence is not in making shidduchim. I may have talents as a trial lawyer, in synagogue administration, financial management, sound judgment, in seeing that the plumbing worked most of the time, in co-managing with Gary Winters the first ever major refurbishment of our building. I also led the rabbinic search committee that resulted in the selection of Rabbi Frandel more than 20 years ago. In college, I had matched 2 couples. One ended in divorce after 13 months. The other divorced after 2 years. 22 years. There's a Jewish folk tradition that says that if you match 3 couples, you earn a place in the world to come. The question posed by my glaring failures, how many more couples must I match? If you count the 2, then just 1 more to reach 3. If the failures count for nothing, then I need to make 3. Or to make up for the negatives, thus I make 5 matches. Thus I had every incentive to satisfy that father, but I did not. I now recognize that my only chance to arrive is on my wife's merits, Ellen. She has the touch and has made the requisite 3 matches, including one by remote control. Ellen offered the prospective Hatan, the proverbial Jewish brain surgeon, a cousin who lived in Connecticut. So, naturally, she involved Hadassah Lieberman, who produced the Kala, a beautiful lawyer from Stanford. Neither Ellen nor Hadassah had met the other part of the equation until the wedding day. Just as I have to hope that I have a place in the world to come on Ellen's merit, Ellen also participated fully in my presidency. To recognize that participation, I established the Ellen Epstein Fund for the Preservation of Kesher Israel. The chairs in the social hall that replaced their raggedy predecessors were purchased through that fund. We may stand on the shoulders of giants, but you sit on Ellen's achievements. A 50-year relationship with Kesher Israel, both personal and with the community. It was here that I said Kaddish for my parents of blessed memory, my father Yudi and later my mother Sonia. It was here that I had my Ufra 40 years ago, this year. And each of our sons, Jeremy, Asher, and Barak, were first called to the Torah. Our daughter Dina pioneered in leading our cookie minions. Our daughter Kira was at her bat mitzvah the first woman ever to deliver a Devar Torah from the Bima, in what we later came to call the People's Pulpit. In the life of our congregation and within my memory, we had times of great sadness, of tragedy, and times of joy. We have each year together faced judgment and seen the gates closed at Nila, and each week fine-tuned our moral compass as we remembered creation and the going forth from Egypt. A most arresting thought in the Torah is the sentence in Shemot, along with the rabbinic gloss that says that we were all present at Mount Sinai, not just the persons who were physically there, but each of us. So I feel about Kesher Israel. During my 50 years here, I must have touched the hands and said Shabbat Shalom to persons who were present at or near the 1911 date that gave rise to this congregation. I imagine also that today's infant, to whom I will say Shabbat Shalom next week, may be present 100 years from now at the bicentennial of this storied congregation. I can reach in all directions to the 100 years, as well as to the members of what we fondly call the Kesher Israel diaspora, our members who are now in Orthodox Jewish communities in the Washington, D.C. area, Israel, and around the world. We were all present in 1911. Each of us is a link to Kesher. May it so continue.
I would now like to introduce Bernardo Hirschman, who was president of Kesher Israel from 1994 to 1996. Bernardo?